If you'd like to help me out, you may want to check me out on Patreon. The link is in the description below.
Once I'd rounded up all my officials together, I shared everything I learned with them, introducing Glenda and ensuring they accepted her. This, of course, meant exposing Glenda to their surveillance. She'd need to earn her trust with all of them. I also introduced her to Kaijin and Karabe, so they could get a chance to examine her handgun. She ought to be able to restock her ammo here, too. Maybe we can even mass-produce those things? Honestly, I'd like one, too. I wasn't gonna put them on sale, but maybe I could give them out to important people on some kind of licensing system. They'd be cool to have, too, I wickedly thought as the days passed by. Soon, the day of our ruins expedition came. We were all set to go. Our expedition outfits were perfect, and I even had a prototype gun on my side. It had piqued Kaijin's interest enough that he produced a mold during the off hours of his research. Dold then carved a seal into them that used magical power to trigger a small explosion inside the chamber. No gunpowder needed and no ejected cartridges. All you needed were some elliptical bullets, and off you went. It was sized at 1/3 of an inch and could hold 16 bullets. It used a blowback system that made the bolt retract with each shot, in order to load the next bullet and eliminate the impact of the explosive charge. The construction was more like a toy than anything, but even this had the power of a .44 Magnum. That was thanks to the gun's Magisteel make, which improved its shock resistance, and the inscription-driven explosive charge also delivered the maximum amount of power possible. By the way, the force of this gun depended on the type of bullets used. Normally, it'd use plain old lead bullets, but for monsters, we also had magic-infused mithril shots. The force could differ depending on how much magic you put in, so you could say this weapon needed the right person using it to excel. In terms of classification, it was a rare, albeit one that could hit as hard as a unique. A really interesting weapon to have around, one that even surprised Kaijin's team as they made it. With the capability it had, I'd really like to make it standard issue with our new troops, but as mentioned, that was up for discussion. Frankly, this was something we'd normally never do. In a way, I made it to play out the classic tropes more than anything. I was reluctant to formally adopt it. We'd have to see how things went, perhaps lending it out only if we determined it to be truly necessary. Such as today, for example. Carrying this around definitely completed my look. Any man's got to have a little classic adventure in his life.
Ooh, this is really cool. The way it kind of recoils in my hands feels so awesome.
Gobta cried. See? Gobta and I share the same good taste. Typically, these were for lending out only, but let's give Gobta one as a present.
You see what I mean, Gobta. But don't go pointing it at people, alright? It's dangerous.
Of course not. I'll be real careful.
He was overjoyed, while Ranga looked on jealously. Ranga, you can't use that thing. I'll give you a fancy scarf, though, so make do with that.
I have Gorikimaru V2 with me, thank you. Not to mention the clothing you chose for me, Sir Rimuru.
Shion, no going on an expedition in that, alright? Safety's our top consideration here.
She must have really liked the clothing I gifted to her, because Shion wore it every chance she got. But it was meant for fashion, not exploration.
A pity.
Her head drooped down as she changed to her normal suit. That wasn't exactly a great improvement, but it was her de facto battle gear, so ah well.
Rimuru, what do you think of me?
Milam was practically jumping up and down with excitement.
Aw, looks good on you. Definitely worth getting for today.
Like Gobta and me, she was in expedition gear we obtained for this day.
You bet. It feels good, and talk about easy to move in. Can you believe how many pockets it has? So cool.
She was in shorts, which I wasn't sure was such a great idea, but they suited her, so we'd go with it.
That it is. Be sure to thank Shuna, okay?
Okay.
That's right.
Thus, we were all in high spirits as we headed for our meeting point, the Free Guild headquarters in the Anglacia capital. The plan was to head to the puppet nation of Distav from there. Kigali was waiting for us at the front entrance.
Good to see you again. We have a lot to do today.
I guess this is the first time? I'm Malim. Good to meet ya.
My name is Kigali. It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
They all smiled at one another before Kigali guided us forward.
Milam?
I don't think there's any problem, but it's a little,
Kigali gave our conversation an odd look. She worked for Yuki, so we eyed her with suspicion, just in case. I was having Milam check her out with Dragon's Eye just now, and it sounded like something caught Milam's attention, but nothing especially problematic. It still bothered me, though, so I resolved to keep my guard up.
Our team's all here, so let me introduce everyone.
Rolling her eyes a bit, Kigali began introducing the expedition team to us. They were lined up in a row, waiting for us in an open area near the HQ. It was a team trained by Kigali herself, and the more talented and experienced among them would be joining us today. They all volunteered for the job, around 10 men and women in all, even after being told we could be attacked. Some of the passers-by were giving them curious looks, but nobody minded. They seemed well trained enough. Their equipment, meanwhile, was the full, complete deal. Not the make-believe stuff we had on, but a lot of heavy stuff, thick upper and lower clothing, with large backpacks. Each of them carried tools for the role they played in the expedition: walking sticks, pickaxes, shovels, you name it.
We'll carry your equipment for you, Sir Rimuru, but where did you put it?
We didn't have any. Just these cool new outfits.
No, we didn't prepare anything, so it's just this.
Ha, that's an amusing joke.
Yeah, I know, but...
Look, you really shouldn't have any of your skin exposed. You might get stung, and it's easier to get hurt that way, right?
Work clothing did its job best if it covered all your skin. Plus, Milam's outfit was just downright slovenly.
You think so? But my skin's protected by an aura at all times, so I'll be okay.
Yeah, but you want to have Kigali get mad at you?
You're just the same as her. From my perspective, you're both far too lightly equipped. You're treating this expedition like a walk in the park.
Oof, harsh. What was so bad about this, really?
Alright. We'll be fine, okay? I may not look it, but I've got a lot of adventuring experience.
To be more exact, I had gone light since I didn't really need to camp outside anyway. That was better demonstrated in person than explained at length right now.
Well, if you insist, but if you have any trouble, please let us know at once.
I doubted we'd have that much trouble. We were treating this like a fun outing, but we did have an eye out for danger. I made sure Gobta, Ranga, and Xian were all aware of that. Time to head out, then.
Right. I have a wagon prepared for us.
Huh? We don't need a wagon, do we?
Kigali stared blankly at me. I stared blankly back at her. What? I mean, it'd take, like, 2 months to reach Destav by wagon. That was never an option.
What do you mean?
I invited the quizzical Kigali to just take us out of town for now. Once we found ourselves in a deserted area, I used Dominate Space to open a transport gate straight to Destav. This process was familiar to me by now. If I've been somewhere before, it was easy to open a gate there.
Alright, come on in. It won't disappear on you or anything, so don't panic.
The dazed expedition party began talking all at once.
You're kidding me. How far away do you think we are?
Truly, a demon lord is an amazing thing.
Impossible. Now the majority of our preparation has gone to waste.
I felt a little bad about that, but, hey, at least I looked cool. So we were at the puppet nation of Destav. The first people to greet us were the Dark Elves, lined up at the castle entrance and bowing deeply.
Welcome to Destav. You must be exhausted from your journey.
The elder among the group stepped up to me. I say elder, but she looked maybe in her 20s, a woman with blonde hair and dark brown skin.
Oh, no, not really. But do you have rooms for us?
Of course. We could provide individual rooms for each of you, but if necessary, we have larger group rooms as well.
I gave them advance notice, so they were entirely set up for us. For now, I figured we could drop all our stuff in the larger group room.
Okay, let's head to the group room first. We can keep our luggage in there, so maybe we can get a tour around the castle today?
Very well. I'd be happy to guide you.
The elder guided us into the room. I told the team to drop their stuff there, and they did so, walking like out-of-sync robots.
What is going on here? It hasn't even been an hour since we came together, and we're already at our destination?
This is insanity. I must be going insane.
What? Individual rooms? They're treating us like guests in this castle.
I guess the robotic walking was because their brains were still catching up to all this. It was a departure from the usual sort of expedition, and I suppose it confused them.
Sir Rimuru has directed us to look after all of you. If you run into any issues during your stay, please don't hesitate to inform us.
The elder flashed a soft smile at the dazed team as she spoke. That was enough to make them face reality. I watched them all, warm fuzzies running over me. Then we took the team on a tour of the castle, the former residence of the demon lord Clayman, and a place that brought the word opulence to new heights. The Dark Elves were fully maintaining the palace, and everywhere I looked, it was spotless.
This is gonna be yours once the expedition is over, Milam, but I think all these people still want to live here.
Yes, I see that. Let's have them provided with regular food and supplies.
Thank you very much, Lady Milam.
Don't worry about it. You're my people too, so if you carry out your roles, that's great.
Wow, Milam's really getting smarter. Fry's efforts must be paying off. Impressed, I asked her some more about the castle and whether she had any issues with it. It's a big palace, enough so that it had space for all the dark elves. There was no surrounding castle town. Dwellings for Magic-born existed, but they were all out working under Geld right now. The elves were tending to them as well, for when they eventually came back.
And this is the entrance into the ruins. It's divided into 3 sections, with the deepest one serving as a crypt. Only the higher officials among us are allowed to enter, and only the Demon Lord Clayman himself knows what lies in the middle section and beyond.
Hakuro mentioned this in his own report, but the ruin entrance was right inside the castle.
So you know how the topmost section is structured?
Yes. All the treasure in the top section has already been recovered, so we are currently using the area for our residences.
There were so many empty rooms inside that it could easily house over 1,000 beds. We opened the door and went in. It was supposed to be underground, but the space was filled with a soft light.
What's this light?
Ah yes, this is a perpetual magic-driven effect. It is synchronized with the passage of the sun, so it gets dark at nighttime.
Heavens! Magic from the distant past is still in operation today?
This alone is a huge discovery. It's being treated as the most normal of things in here, but I'd like to thoroughly investigate it.
Is this magic active in the other sections?
Yes. I had a glance deeper in when I accompanied Lord Clayman, but the central section was just as bright.
The elder patiently answered all our questions, a back and forth that continued for a while to come. I could see how excited the team was, and that energy was starting to rub off on us.
Better stay out of their way, Gobta.
Right. Getting kinda nervous, huh?
We whispered at each other as we looked around the first section. It looked pretty lived in, so I could believe the dark elves called it home.
So if you live in here, you don't see any monsters come up from below? 'Cause if there's a crypt, I'd expect ghosts and stuff.
The elder snickered at Gobta's query.
No need to worry about that. There is only one door leading to the underground, and only Lord Clayman could open it.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shoutout to Josia Ingada, Gianfranco Miguel Fernandez, Luminuseca, Jatinsa, Shlok Tiwari, Riambaru, Lunarin, Alcoxide, John Paul Dungo, and last but not least, shoutout to Speedy Sand. I'll see you guys in the next video.